Hey, hi, and thanks for tuning in to a brand new channel called Sundance Studios. My name is Jonathan, and I'm a professional DJ and music producer. Well, at least I think I am. I'm signed to a couple of record labels, and I actually have releases out through those labels as we speak. So, what's this channel about? Well, I'm not here to teach you any mastering or mixing techniques or anything like that. We'll leave that up to the people I go to get my information from. This is basically a channel about one average producer who's built a studio in his garden to other producers out there, and you know what I might think of this or think of this plugin or this synthesizer or anything like that. And from an average point of view, do I notice it and how it works? And do I notice any differences from this compressor to that compressor? How are my ears training? This kind of thing. Because to be honest with you, I'm not that technically minded. I'm not even really a musician. I can't really play much. I can play a few chords on a guitar and some one-handed stuff on a keyboard. I've got some basic music theory, which I think does help. And so, you know, a lot of these plugins and things require really sensitive, highly tuned ears at times to really notice stuff. And the people I listen to, they really know their stuff. And as an average producer, sometimes I find it really difficult to be able to notice what they're talking about. I can hardly hear what they're mentioning, whether they've got headphones on or whether it's through the monitors here. So quite often or not, I'll get some of these plugins and I'll put them on, and I'll download the trial version and give it a shot and think, okay, can I actually hear the difference between this plugin and that plugin? And quite often or not, I can't. Sometimes I just can't suss it out. But that's where I guess why they're professional and I'm kind of semi-professional. But nonetheless, I'm able to produce music to a relatively high standard that's good enough for a record label to sign. So it can't be that bad. So, like I said, this studio is built in my garden. I do hire the studio out from time to time from anything from people who want to make meditation websites to people who want to come and sing and that sort of thing, and I help process that material for them. The studio is actually in my garden, and I built it out of 85% recycled materials because one thing, I believe in recycling. I think it's a great way to help with the environment and stuff, and also I couldn't really afford new, so I had to go out to old building sites and things like that and rescue bits of material to make it. And it is in my garden, but it is treated well, as best as I can get it treated anyway. And I love being in here. I guess I spend 85% of my days and nights in here. So, a bit of history about me. I started off back in the mid 90s as an actor at drama college. Um, we part of that course was dance, and I found that I could do dancing quite well. And one day we had an African workshop come in to teach us some African dance, and they liked what I did and asked me if I would join them. So I said, yeah, why not? So I ran away with the circus, and it was through them that I discovered the dance scene and ended up going to various different clubs in and around London, like Heaven nightclub and RG1 and places like that. And got into this dance music scene. Oh my God, what is this music? This is so great, and loved it. And entered into the scene completely straight. I wasn't taking any, you know, enhancing substances to make my experience of that any better. I was completely straight. I just loved the music. I just happened to hit some nights where they were just playing great music, and it was just fabulous. Um, and basically, I got swept up in this current, in this flood of the dance music scene, and I ended up creating my own dance group called Forbidden Rhythm, and we went around the country performing and giving performances in various major clubs up and down the country. And that was a great experience, and that lasted for 8 years. And at the time I was still practicing acting as well. Um, I then got into DJing, and obviously back then it was still on vinyl. And so I ended up DJing, and because of the connections I built up within the club world, I was able to get gigs relatively easy, and spent I don't know, several months in my house with 5 records given to me by a friend, learning to beat match, and finally got out playing live. So I spent, I don't know, the next 10 years or so doing that. And then I got PlayStation 2000 with the Lego blocks of music, and thought, oh my god, this is so great, how you can make dance music like this, you know. Um, and that's what actually got me going into production. And then I ended up getting a little £100 PC, Windows PC, with 2 little desktop speakers, and started producing stuff like that with the old sequencer called Acid. I don't know if any of you remember that, but Acid. Um, and a friend of mine at the time was using Cubase, and so he got me into Cubase, and so it progressed. And eventually I ended up opening up a little studio in my friend's house just down the road from here, and he had like a really kind of old rundown house, and in the rear he had what used to be an old food pantry, and it wasn't used anymore. So he gave me permission to knock it about and go in there and uh, set up a little studio, so which I did. So then I had 2 PCs and farmed them together with FX teleport. So I had the VSTs on one and the DAW on the other, and we were, you know, it was tiny, you know, I don't know, 8 gig of memory or something like that. I don't know how I produce stuff. I really don't know, but I didn't really know anything about production then at all. Nothing. I probably only know a little bit more now. So I had no idea what a compressor or a limiter did. Barely knew what an EQ was, and but you know, managed to produce a couple of albums like that, not knowing anything. Called in session musicians, keyboardists, violinists, singers, all this kind of stuff, and somehow managed to get out and play these things on a live PA show. How I got away with it, I don't know, because the production was bloody awful. And um, I'll link, put some links down below to take you to the sites where you can listen to some of those really early productions. And to be fair, some of them aren't that bad, but you know, knowing what I know now and how to produce, oh my god, if I could go back over those tracks and do them, but obviously the project files are long lost and that can't really be done anymore. Um, and then I ended up running a nightclub, and I did that for 7 years. That was a real stressful business. And then in the summer of 2019, I started to build this studio that we're in now. And the foundations of this studio has been sitting here for like 8 or 9 years. I'd always planned to do it, but never got around to doing it. And I'm glad, because by the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, was when COVID hit. And basically we got locked down for what, 18 months, 2 years. And so I shut myself away in here for those 2 years, relearning, you know, up-to-date production techniques and various new methods and all the new plugins, and so reinvested back into production. Within those 2 years, I've managed to turn the studio into a business. So I got other artists coming in here and using and recording their material, and that could be anything from guitars, vocals, to people who want to do storytelling for children's books or meditation for their websites, etc. And I also managed to get signed to 2 record labels, and releases are out. Their first release, which was released last November in 2021, that's now #1 in AWJ Recordings top 10, so it's their best-selling track. It's a trance tune, and I produce trance, and that's under the name of DJ Sundance. But I also produce house, and that's under another alias name, which I won't mention at the moment, but I'll do that in future videos. I don't use samples or loops. I am signed up to Loop Cloud, and sometimes I might get a percussive loop or something like that, or I might hear a synth riff, and I think, oh, that sound is quite nice. I'll cut it up and I'll drop it into a sampler here and play around with it. That's as far as I go with Loop Cloud. Every track I ever make is made from scratch. I don't use templates. I don't use the same kick drum, and I will always, every single track is laboured over. I know people and producers that can bang tracks out 2 or 3 a day. I can't do that. You know, it takes me 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 6 weeks sometimes, to write and finish one track, because I'm forever sculpting, tweaking, fiddling, reshaping, you know, and putting my heart and soul into it, to make it, you know, the best it can be. I don't master my own tracks. I always send them off, and I've got some really good connections for that. And so yeah, that's a little bit about me and the way I work. I work in Cubase. I'm at Cubase Pro 12 right now, and I have a Scarlett audio interface with some Adam monitors. And as you can see, the massive, great 42-inch television screen, because my eyesight's going. I still got to wear glasses. Um, so I have fun here in the studio. I spend most of my life, and I live in here basically. So I'm here 85% of my life, and I'm very lucky to be able to do this and make a little bit of a living from it. So anything I can pass on to anybody else out there, I'm happy to do that. And the people who I go to, who I listen to, I'll let you know who those are and link them down below. I can't remember if I mentioned that earlier in the video or not. But anyway, people like Bathmetrics, who taught the clip to zero method. I mean, that has changed my entire production method. When it's said that loudness is in the mix, she is absolutely bang on. You need to Bathmetrics clip to zero method. That is the method that will get all your mixes insanely loud, clear as a bell, with everything being able to breathe in the spectrum and have its own place in the frequency. So check that out. Mixbus TV, great channel, fantastic information there, can't go wrong. Chris Sellum, Mixdown Online, Dom Segalis, White Sea Studios, Produce Like a Pro. These guys, top of their field. I go to them to learn what I know, and these boys really know their stuff. And there are others I go to watch as well, which I'll mention in other future videos. And yeah, so I'm just going to here to talk to you about various different bits and pieces. At the moment, the plugin market is absolutely saturated, and we're smashed in the face all the time. Buy this plugin, get this plugin. This is the next secret weapon. That's the next secret weapon. This is what you need to make your mixes stand out. And what I've learned is none of that's true. There are certain plugins out there, yes, absolutely are a must, and will definitely help you if you know what you're doing with them. I'm still learning. I'm still wanting to know how to use my de-esser correctly, properly, various techniques that can be used along with that. When do I need to use a master bus compressor, and when to use the Fab Filter Pro C2 instead. Things like this. And there's, I can go so far down in with the technicalities of it and how they understand and how to understand stuff. And you really want to go deep, you go to people like Dan Worrell, this kind of person who go really deep into, how harmonics and the Nyquist area and things like that. So if you're prepared to sit down, take notes, really learn from these guys, it will really make your production stand out and give you a much better baseline to send off to a master to get it mastered properly. So yeah, there we go. That's me. This is Sundance Studio, and this is just an introduction. And I have no idea what's coming next, and when the next videos are going to be. Maybe one a week, maybe one every fortnight. I don't know, but hopefully it'll be some sort of interesting topic, and we'll find something to talk about, something I found. But in the meantime, stay safe. Thanks for tuning in, and please subscribe and hit that notification bell, because obviously that's going to help me and give you information as to when the next video is up. So take it easy for now, and see you on the next video. See you later. Ciao.